What is up, everybody? It's Brian here, and I'm bringing you some Super Meat Boy. So, when I was asked to contribute to this channel, I said yes, but I really didn't know what to play, and so I was hanging out at my girlfriend's Jamie's house, and I saw that she had Super Meat Boy on her computer, and I was kind of in a rush to record, and I said, hey, screw it, you know what? I'll just do Super Meat Boy, and as a matter of fact, what I can actually end up doing is bringing my whole Super Meat Boy Let's Play over to this channel. And the purpose of that was to get the Golden God achievement, and that is to get 100% in Super Meat Boy, which sounds like an impossible feat, and it's not, but it's very difficult. On my main save, on my personal computer, I'm somewhere around World 4. Got about 30% of the bandages and 30% of the A+s. But I may have deleted that save and I might have to start over. Now, the reason I would attempt such a thing is because Super Meat Boy is an amazing game. It's one of those games that it doesn't hold your hand, and if you suck at Super Meat Boy lets you know, and the only way to get better is to just play the game more and more, and learn that the game really doesn't give a shit about you. It is out to kill you multiple times, and what you need to do is stop complaining about it. Now, when the game kills you, it's not because, you know, the game is cheap, or it was a, you know, there was a glitch or something. It's because you just need to get better at the game, and I really love Super Meat Boy for that, because it's hard, and everyone knows that it's hard, and it pulls no punches in being hard. Like this level, for instance, that bandage up there in the top middle might seem like it's easy to pick up, but this is one of the hardest bandages I've ever had to pick up in the whole game. Now, in this recording, I was going for bandages. I wasn't really going for A+, because out of the 19 or 20 levels in the Dark World for the Forest, which is what I'm playing, I missed an A+, I missed it on this one. I did end up going into the Warp Zone just, you know, for shits and giggles. But I was not picking up the bandages, just because I didn't want to mess up with, you know, Jamie's save, because she's got A+s in the original Forest, and I didn't really want to screw with that, because I didn't want to stomp all over her times that she worked hard for. But she hadn't yet beaten the Forest Dark World, so I figured, you know, screw it, I'll just record that and show everyone what it is. Dark World for the Forest is not really hard. The Hospital, which is World 2, the Dark World for that is definitely harder, and the Salt Factory can be quite brutal. I've never tried the Dark World for Hell, and I've not played Rapture yet. I believe that's the order of the levels, but I'm not quite sure, because when I play this game on my own time, what I do is I don't move on to the next world until I've 100% of the other one, and I know for a fact I've gone 100% on the Forest, the Hospital, and the Salt Factory. And the reason I want to do this is because, you know, the Super Meat Boy is an amazing game, and it only came out a year ago. There was some news recently that, you know, Team Meat has been going to be doing some sort of sale on Xbox Live, and while the Xbox version is not the best version of the game, it's pretty good in its own regard. The only thing it has going against it is some of the PC characters are better and have better abilities than the Xbox exclusive characters, and the inclusion of it being on Steam lets them update it quite frequently. It has more achievements, and Super Meat World is updated more often than the internet's level on the Xbox 360 version. So if you've never played before, this is a warp zone. You go into it, and it takes you to sort of a old school platformer. Sometimes these are designed after really old games from the cartridge era, and they're really well done. The only problem with them is that you only have 3 lives per level, and I did make it through here, but I did have to skip the bandages, because the bandage in one of these is actually pretty tough to get, even though it might look like it's a piece of cake. Alright, so for the rest of this, I'm just going to talk about a couple personal internet matters. You can see my YouTube is linked in the description, hopefully, and it's right there in the top left of the video if you don't know what it is. Currently trying to upload one video a day for the rest of 2011. And I'm doing that by uploading a number of personal vlogs, which, by the way, if you've seen any of them, I hate that word. Doing a whole bunch of general, stupidity. Currently working on a walkthrough for Gears of War 3 on Insane. Doing the voiceovers with my lovely girlfriend, Jamie. What else? I do a number of parody commentaries, so if you watch a lot of primarily it's Call of Duty stuff, so if you watch the point of them is to point out the ridiculousness of Call of Duty parodies. Some of them are so boring. Some of them, to me, it appears that there's kind of like this competition between Call of Duty commentators to sometimes seem like who can sound the stupidest, like who can be the biggest bro, or who can be the most ignorant, or who can use, the worst English. And I do that by using this character called MrBr1zzo, which is, my YouTube channel. But, he's a douche, and I use a lot of the words that big-time Call of Duty commentators use, just to point out their ridiculousness. And my goal is to say things, or show you things, or point out things that you can't then unsee or hear. That if you ever watch another commentary, you will now notice that it's done because I do it, and you'll no longer be able to take them seriously. And that's my goal, and I've actually, had that pointed out to me a couple times, which means that I'm succeeding. A lot of work goes into them, because I have to watch a lot of bad Call of Duty commentaries, which is personally painful to my eyes and ears, but I do it for the lulz, and I do it for you, and that's really all I want, is to just be entertaining. So that's the point of the commentaries. I'm gonna start rolling out some Battlefield parody commentaries here soon. I can't talk about them too much. Matter of fact, this is the first time I'm actually talking about them, period. I got nailed right there, because I went for the bandages the first time that I was actually trying to get one. I got greedy and, paid the price for it. If you don't already know, if you come visit my YouTube channel, I talk quite often about the website that Jamie and I run. It's called Busted D-Pad, which is located at busteddpad.com. And it's been tough running the site, because normally when we started, it didn't really have too much of a unique thing going on. It didn't have a voice or a goal. It was just to pretty much just run the website and a place to host and to post videos that I was making at the time. But after really thinking about it a lot recently, came to the conclusion that we need to find something to do that's unique, something that most sites don't do. And what I came up with was a couple people when I say people, I mean a couple big name video game writers. Someone had commented that they don't like when video games launch, because it's kind of like a goodbye to a game. Because what the websites do is that they get tons of coverage, they get trailers, they get screenshots, they get press releases from PR companies to hype up a game coming out, which is free press that they get, and then they hand out review copies to the websites and stuff. And once a game comes out, they pretty much stop talking about them, unless the PR companies start to give them more information about it. And I think that's a travesty, because a game's life cycle doesn't begin in development, it begins once a game is released. So what we do at the website is keep an eye out for stuff that's going on in games that are already out, and try as hard as we can to acknowledge video game birthdays, because once a game is released, it's born. That's our mantra, is that a game that is released is better than any game that hasn't been released. As of late October 2011, I can firmly say that the worst video game that you've played right now is better than the biggest game that is coming out next year, because that game isn't out yet. And that's something that we're sticking to, trying to provide coverage of multiplayer events, playlist changes, games that get patched, DLC, anything that makes a game that is currently alive and kicking, anything that changes it, improves it, how the communities are doing, and always want to talk about impacts that games have and celebrated their anniversaries, and that's the goal of the site. So if you want to check it out, bussadpad.com.